Kocincsunk with the paper cup.
Perfect match.
And they have the match with the smileys and they will get their little heart. This is a demonstration on what you should be doing. And one more applause before the presentation. Hajrá, Szilárd.
And I'm full of hearts. Greetings, everyone. In the early times of this year, my boss asked me, Szilárd, you're going around so many conferences, like this one. You talk a lot about quality. You have a lot of stories around that. What is your quality model? Can you show me your one slider? One slide. All my 24 years experience. Everything I talk about on one slide. So I will present you today my three-pillar balanced quality model of proactive, detective, and reactive quality assurance in 28 slides. We will get to the one at the end. That's the promise. But who we are? We are Efficode. Efficode is sponsoring my being here, and it's a leading DevOps company in Europe. We help customers transform into software-driven organizations. We help 1,600 customers from all the domains, and we are all around Europe in 10 countries and growing, buying all the competitors. I have 24 years experience in testing, as I said, mainly in the telecom industry. Yes, even Adorjan was my boss at Nokia. You've seen him talking. I collect a lot of knowledge. I collect certifications, but what I love collecting the most is actually Lego bricks. But why doing that? Because it's creative, and I love creativism, and I love to create new things, trying to create new stories. So this will be one of those. So building up the story, let's talk about the three ways of DevOps and how that is related to quality, or how quality is related to the three ways of DevOps. Do you know the three ways of DevOps? Who knows it? Hands up. Not many. Let me rush through them. Or not rush, actually. So the first way, as it was defined in the Phoenix project or discussed by Jim Kim and the co-authors, the first way, the principle of flow, is the flow of frequent and small valuable changes from business, from development into customers. So from left to the right, delivering value, delivering changes. Flow, frequent, small batches of value. Now, when we think that in this system we need to load more, and DevOps is about more, actually Jim Kim says being able to take needless work out of the system is more important than being able to put more work into the system. Removing waste, removing non-added value is important in DevOps. Removing non-added value. And remember that more testing could slow down the flow. If we have a large detective quality assurance testing phase, lots of tests, it might slow down the flow. It might be counterproductive. So what do we try to achieve with this? We want to have it faster, right? We want to have a bit smaller, shorter, shrinker testing phase, building on shifting left, building on proactive quality assurance aspects to make sure that our way of working, the testing we do, the quality assurance we have in place is supporting the flow. Automation, complemented by exploratory and in-person testing, and shift left for the faster flow. Now, the second way of DevOps is the principle of feedback. And Chris, just 2 presentations before me, that talked about the feedback, the importance of feedback. But that was feedback for humans. This is about feedback from the quality or the status of the system. So we want to have feedback from every stage to the previous stage, and from the end users back to the origin, to the idea desk, to understand are we delivering what we want to be, and to be able to improve. Improving daily work is more important than doing daily work. I hope you have enough time reserved in your organization for improving daily work. Now, why and how can we amplify feedback in quality assurance? We need shift right. We need to be able to react on issues. We need to be able to measure those. We need to be able to understand how the system works in production-like environments, but also really how is it being used. So I believe we need to build all three of these pillars. And that will give us amplified feedback. Now going forward, the third way of DevOps is the principle of continual learning and experimentation. If we count out experiment, our competition, we are sunk. But what does it do with quality assurance? Quality assurance can build a safety net. The testing, the pipeline, the understanding from left, understanding what the customer needs, having service design thinking in place, paired with understanding how the system is being used on the very right, really far away, supported by telemetry, having observability in place. All this will help us to experiment because we can innovate, we can measure it, and then we can decide if we go with it or we just drop that innovation, that idea. Also, quality assurance will give us a safety net where people can just try out new things, new changes, deploy to production, and the DevOps and test automation and telemetry and all the system rolling back to the previous version of our system if something is wrong will support the experimentation and the innovation. So by building these, we will have fast flow. We will have fast feedback cycles throughout the system. And then we can have experimentation. So having proper, proactive quality assurance, as little as possible, detective quality assurance as possible, enough, but as little, removing not needed work is important. And then that is complemented by reactive quality assurance, being able to understand if we deployed something wrong, being able to react to the impact of a failure and shrink the outage. I mean, like the impact, lower the impact helps. So I challenge your quality assurance strategy to have a more focused view on shift left, shift right, and actual detective quality assurance. While a lot of companies, as said, are focusing on the middle. They are focusing on improving their detective capabilities with automation, with shared tools and processes, which is good, with adding exploratory testing, which is again good and needed. I challenge that where you want to be is really going, as said, to the left, having design thinking, understanding the user needs first, then build on top of that agile way of working, continuous integration practices, using AI for development, but also having in place proper releasing and proper operational practices, being able to do acceptance testing on production-like environments, and also monitoring and checking the system, how they work in production. And of course, all this is supported by the CI/CD pipeline, by the DevOps pipeline under us. You have to see, I start with design, not planning, service design, which I really believe is a really great way to start thinking about quality. Now, let's make it more complicated, and you see we are getting to the one slider. A lot of practices are did there. Are we there yet? Is this already the model? We added all the practices, again, design thinking, UX feedback, personas, empathy mapping, story mapping, BDD, Gaspar, just for you. The agile practices. So we have all that. We have the continuous integration practices. We have software bill of materials created so we know what is the components that are building up our solution. So we know what is the threat in those components already in this phase. So we know the security threats and we can react to those early, as an example. So adding agile practices for building in quality. In the middle, continuous testing, of course, is needed, built on keyword-driven test automation, exploratory testing, bug hunting, non-functional testing continuously, and building on shared responsibility resources. Automation for fast feedback, and automation to have the chance to do more exploratory testing. Now going to the right, acceptance test on standardized staging, standardized infrastructure as a code-based, on-demand test environments. Built-in chaos engineering for reliability. Continuous deployment strategies. What is the way I'm deploying? Green, blue, etc. Canary releases, dark launch, all that to be able to test really in production without impacting a larger amount of end users. Why I'm using and seeing these testers, we all need to know about this. We need to challenge the way how we deploy to production because deployment strategies are reducing the impact of delivering a failure, delivering a faulty software, causing failure, will reduce the impact and with that improves the quality. Of course, rollback is needed or fast roll forward. Now, crowd testing. In the empathy mapping phase, we understand the personas, we understand what the human wants. During the exploratory testing, we tested through their eyes, in-person testing. And then with the crowd testing, we hire people who are exactly representing those personas. So you can connect these and you can connect BDD with keyword-driven automation, measuring the, for example, performance of every functional test case in a continuous manner. You can connect these again. And we can measure the most important scenarios with active probes in production, always being aware of how our system behaves continuously, every minute, every time, having the health check information. All these are technology. Let's move even more, to the right. Let's move to ITSM, IT service management. Let's listen to the service desk calls. Let's understand what they say about our capability. Let's go out to social media and listen to the voice of our customers. How do they feel? Connect it back to service design, design thinking. Was this our assumption? So we have a lot of these already, but we are not there yet. We need to build on something. We need to have a foundation, and I believe that's the internal developer platform. A foundation of self-service APIs, tools, services, knowledge and support which are arranged as a compelling internal product. This could be components for your product, or this could be components, elements of your CI/CD or automation, reusable things. Why? To build efficiency in, and through standardization, build on high-quality components. Reusable, well-known how they behave components. Adding the platform engineering as a base for efficiency is building up our model. Now, we still need something. We need to represent our quality assurance strategy. Just 2 weeks ago, I ran this workshop in Zagreb, how to collaboratively build a continuous quality assurance strategy around our CI/CD pipeline using card games. No, you are not starting with your Jenkins file or the GitHub Actions, and you don't communicate your strategy through YAML files. I rather suggest play with the team and come up with a common solution, with a common way of representing the different testing phases, the quality characteristics that you need to build in, and the look and feel of the flow of your pipeline, connecting the different testing activities in it and deployment activities. So let's add continuous quality assurance strategy in a pipeline on top of your internal developer platform using the practices from below. Are we there yet? Don't think so. We still need the quality goals. We need the balanced quality goals. But who are the ones defining that? I really believe product management needs to have an active role. They need to understand what is the quality need of the product. And I talk about the product here, not the features. Features, the functionality, the smaller chunks, through service design, we understand what they need to do, but the whole product, what are the quality characteristics? The Kano model helps to understand if more helps or not. Adding more performance, does it help? Will it make the quality better? You need to reach a certain level. After that, it doesn't help. But adding more UX might be delighter. People will download your product much more because of a lot of user experience or proper user experience. Again, back to the cards. The risk storming cards, the quality cards from this deck or the test sphere cards help a lot to pick the right quality characteristics and discuss through them and pick the ones that are relevant for our products. So let's add a balanced quality goal on top, driving us through non-functional requirements, defining non-functional requirements that are a constraint on the backlog. For every backlog item, they need to fulfill these. And then in line with them, let's add service level indicators to measure in production so we understand how the system behaves. NFR connected to service level indicators based on the agreed balanced quality goals. Why balanced? Because you can't have all. Have you been on a prioritization when they said, yeah, it's all top priority? That's not balanced. So we are really getting there. Or to say, actually, we are there. And this is my level of the pillar, of the three-pillar balanced quality model now. However, I already have ideas what's missing. And please contact me telling me what's missing. I think we need the organizational level. But actually in the balanced quality goal, I also mean that management, leadership, needs to set the tone and provide us with the incentives that everyone is handling and focusing through these qualities. I mean, focusing on these qualities. Organizational quality might be missing, people aspects might be missing. So there's still a way. I'm just running out of the one slide already. Also, maybe a lot of more practices could be added. So maybe we need to make a poster for the next years. And yes, if you want to take a picture, this is the one to be taken. So summarizing what we've been discussing about, I told in my abstract that I want to challenge how we are looking at current testing. So continuous testing is important, true. However, it's not enough. You have to focus on quality on the left and on the right, and you need to balance and utilize the capabilities that DevOps and the pipeline gives you to build on. Internal development platform is your foundation to build on. Use those components and get your leadership to set balanced quality goals, get the product management to own the balanced quality goals. Just recently, I've been on a product tank, a meetup with product managers, and they loved this concept, and they want to own quality. And DevOps, for speed, needs more quality. So thank you for that, and thank you. I left 4 seconds.
You have 4 questions.
I have few questions.
No, you have a lot of questions. All right. Based on your experience, what can be a good ratio, oh God, between Proact QA, that QA, React QA, I hope, in percentage, looking at the time/effort?
Seriously?
I agree.
It should be balanced. 30, 30, 30, and 10 is floating around in convincing the management what's enough. I would say that because testing, the middle is slowing down the flow, you really need to build the other two. But the point is, if you are not deploying to production, because I'm still not having enough tests in my pipeline, you will actually never deploy to production. So maybe instead of working on your test automation and coverage, requirement coverage, for example, go out and start measuring how it behaves in production. And then you might say, I don't even need to test it, because I know it's fast, it's slow, it's not enough. Go to the right, focus on the right. So 80% going to the right, no. 50 going to the right, 50 going to the left. And all that remains is your detective QA.
Thank you. If testers need to understand everything this widely, isn't an issue that they won't understand anything deeply?
Very good question. And I actually said, as a tester, you need to understand this concept. It's not you who does all this. This is an organization quality approach. This is how your whole organization, the leadership, all the roles, product owners, product managers, service designers, developers, testers, operational people, service desk should behave and do blameless postmortem. So it's not a one-man show, and it never can be a one-man show. The more you grow your T-shape, the more you pull the leg, the deep knowledge up.
Thank you. What do you suggest for a junior tester to widen the proactive QA phase?
Learn service design. Learn design thinking. I would go really that far to the left. Understanding the customers, understanding their needs, their feelings, the customer journey. Only then you can really be a good tester and test in their views. I'm not saying you go to CI/CD. That's needed, but you cannot really help with unit testing. Understand the customer, what they want, what's the journey they go through, how do they feel at a given stage in the journey, and test with that in your mind the next day.
Excellent. With the emphasis these days on short development and test cycles, is there a risk that testers/developers only learn about current features?
Very good point as well. And there's a chance of that one, obviously. But that's why I'm saying if we have the balanced quality goals of the product, everyone understands how this product should behave. There's a certain point of time when you can think about that. I also suggest that you do bug hunting events with your organization, which is a team-level exploratory testing session, where you see the product, not just the feature, and you learn.
You were amazing once again, and now you will get a huge applause from the audience, I assume. Thank you so much. And you will be with us, right, for the afternoon? You are here.
I'm here. I'm leaving around 4 o'clock, flying back to Finland.
So during the lunch break, they can approach you while you're eating, right?
Yes.
Thank
find
you.
me and find your free beer
Exactly.
as well. And find your match. I found mine. It's Attila. It was obvious.
Ladies and gentlemen, Szilard SZELL. Thank you so much. Köszönjük.